Yoona paced angrily inside Jungkook's private apartment, frustration completely taking over her emotions now. This can't continue. Jungkook sat tiredly on the couch while she kept throwing ideas desperately. Then what do you want me to do? He asked irritably. Yoona stopped suddenly before saying something that genuinely shocked him. Tell everyone she cheated on you. Silence. Jungkook looked at her like she lost her mind. What? She's already acting different, Yoona argued quickly. People will believe it if you say she changed after meeting another man. Jungkook immediately stood up. Are you insane? His voice turned colder now. You want me to destroy my wife's image because I cheated? Yoona's eyes filled with tears instantly. But what about me? She cried. You keep protecting her. Jungkook rubbed his forehead harshly. Everything was becoming messier every day. I'm not ruining YN publicly, he said firmly. For the first time, genuine anger entered his voice regarding you. Yoona, however, moved closer, crying softly. Then, accept me properly. Her voice trembled emotionally. Please. And despite everything, Jungkook still softened, because he did care for her, even if guilt toward you kept growing heavier now. We'll find another way, he murmured finally while calming her down. Meanwhile, far away from them, you sat inside Kim Taehyung's studio office beside Kang Mirai. Files, campaign proposals, and luxury brand contacts covered the table. This time, you weren't crying over betrayal anymore. You were planning, carefully, coldly. Using Jungkook's black card and shared financial access, you continued moving money naturally. When Jungkook occasionally questioned sudden expenses, your answers remained casual. Shopping, new car, apartment investment. Normal enough not to raise complete suspicion. But in reality, you were quietly investing in Mirai, stylists, campaign connections, professional photographers, brand introductions. Everything Yoona once gained unfairly through Jungkook's power, you now redirected towards someone actually hardworking. Mirai stared at you one evening almost speechless. Why are you helping me this much? You calmly signed another sponsorship approval, because talented women shouldn't lose against mistresses with connections. Taehyung smirked proudly from the side, hearing your colder personality growing stronger. Soon whispers slowly spread through modeling circles. Kang Mirai suddenly has powerful backing. She got luxury campaigns now. Some rich boyfriend, maybe? Mirai followed your instructions carefully. If anyone asked, she simply smiled mysteriously. My boyfriend is helping me. Naturally, the rumors reached Yoona quickly. And the moment she heard another model suddenly gaining expensive deals from a rich boyfriend, jealous suspicion immediately started burning inside her. The luxury mall buzzed softly with weekend crowds while you walked beside Kim Taehyung carrying a few shopping bags. You weren't acting overly close in public. Still, the chemistry between you both was noticeable enough. Then suddenly someone familiar stopped nearby, Park Jimin. His eyes immediately widened slightly, seeing you with Taehyung, especially because this definitely didn't look like a casual coincidence. But Jimin recovered quickly, smiling casually. Well, this is interesting. Taehyung instantly recognized him too. Mr. Park. The atmosphere became awkward for a second, then Jimin looked at you carefully before speaking more seriously. Mrs. Jian roaming around publicly with another man could become harmful for you? You looked slightly surprised hearing that tone. Not judgmental. More like a warning. Eventually, the three of you sat together inside a quiet restaurant corner. Jimin stirred his coffee slowly before finally saying what had clearly been sitting in his head. You know people already talk, right? You stayed calm. About what? Jimin gave you a look. Yoona and Jungkook. Silence. Then he sighed tiredly. Honestly, mostly everyone important already knows. Your fingers tightened slightly around the glass. Even though you already suspected it, hearing it confirmed openly still hurt somewhere deep. Jimin leaned back in his chair. I hate him sometimes. That made both you and Taehyung look at him. He steals deals constantly, Jimin muttered annoyed. Uses connections ruthlessly. A bitter laugh escaped him. He's successful, yes. Then his expression darkened slightly. But recently, he's losing control. Jimin glanced toward you knowingly. I tried accessing a few things through his company recently, and things felt messy. He smirked faintly afterward. I wanted to destroy him once. That sentence surprised you. But honestly, Jimin shrugged. Seeing him nowadays, I think he'll destroy himself eventually. You unexpectedly laughed softly hearing that. Beside you, Taehyung calmly drank his coffee while observing Jimin carefully. Then Jimin suddenly asked, So, who exactly is he to you? Before you could answer, Taehyung spoke first, completely shamelessly. Her boyfriend. You nearly choked. Jimin instantly looked horrified. Don't say things like that directly, Taehyung smirked lazily. What? It's easier. Jimin rubbed his forehead dramatically. You people are seriously trying to create a scandal bigger than Jungkook's affair. For days you kept reminding Jungkook about the shares, and for days, he avoided it. Meetings, lawyers busy, documents pending, excuses after excuses. But deep down, Jungkook already sensed the truth. The moment he transferred everything properly, you would slowly walk away from him. That fear alone made him delay things desperately, so you changed tactics. One evening, Jungkook returned home exhausted, only to freeze near the entrance. The house smelled like home again. Dinner, freshly prepared, soft lights on, and you, standing there in a simple, modest dress looking almost exactly like the woman from years ago. Kook, you're home. That nickname alone hit him unexpectedly. For an entire week now, you had started acting warmer again. Cooking, talking softly, waiting occasionally, smiling gently at him, even sitting beside him while he worked. The old comfort he destroyed long ago slowly returned piece by piece. And honestly, you felt disgusted with yourself sometimes while acting. But this wasn't about love anymore. You wanted his trust fully again. You wanted him emotionally dependent on you. You wanted him to slowly choose you over Yuna himself, because once he cut emotional and business ties from Yuna, her entire world would shake. Meanwhile, far away from the John house, another dangerous meeting was happening. Inside a private office lounge sat Kim Tae-hyung, Kang Mirai, Yu, and unexpectedly, Park Jimin. Jimin had accidentally seen you all entering the same building earlier and immediately sensed something suspicious. Now he sat casually observing everyone while Mirai looked visibly nervous. So it's true, Jimin said slowly. You people are really helping Mirai replace Yuna. Nobody answered immediately. That silence itself became confirmation. Mirai sighed anxiously. People keep asking who my rich boyfriend is, she admitted. What if they discover Mrs. John is helping me? You stayed thoughtful quietly. I only said my boyfriend is helping me, Mirai continued nervously. Then suddenly, Jimin spoke calmly. Tell them Park Jimin is helping you. Everyone looked at him in shock. Even Mirai blinked confused. What? Jimin smirked while leaning back comfortably. If Jungkook wants to play dirty in business and women both. His eyes darkened slightly. Then the game should be fair. Taehyung looked amused instantly. You, however, studied Jimin more carefully now, because this no longer felt like simple revenge. Bit by bit, powerful people were starting to choose sides. That evening, you stood in front of the mirror adjusting your earrings while John Jungkook changed nearby. His phone suddenly rang. Call's his expression shifted slightly. He immediately cut the call. But seconds later, messages started flooding the screen. Jungkook quietly picked up the phone and walked toward the balcony. You noticed everything? Of course you did. Meanwhile, outside, Yuna sounded emotional and angry the moment he answered. Why are you ignoring me? I'm busy, Jungkook replied tiredly. Busy? She repeated sharply. I saw you with your wife at that restaurant yesterday. Jungkook closed his eyes briefly in frustration. You can't suddenly do this to me. Her voice trembled now. I'm your girlfriend, Jungkook. Inside the bedroom, you continued getting ready silently, while hearing muffled parts of the conversation through the slightly open balcony door. You already knew who it was, and somehow, it no longer shattered you like before. It only exhausted you. Yuna continued crying softly while demanding reassurance. And once again, that woman took Jungkook's attention completely. After a few more minutes, he entered the room again. I need to handle something, he said quickly. Another excuse, another lie. You stood still near the mirror watching him leave without stopping him this time. The door closed. Silence returned. You slowly looked at your own reflection afterward, then calmly picked up your phone. Meanwhile, things were changing rapidly inside the modeling industry. Kang Mirai officially secured a luxury deal everyone expected Yuna to win easily. And unlike Yuna, Mirai actually earned it. Years of training, years of rejection, years of struggling without powerful protection. Now finally, people were starting to notice her talent properly. Over the next few weeks, Mirai continued becoming stronger competition publicly, magazine covers, brand deals, fashion campaigns, and behind the scenes, your team quietly kept helping her rise higher. One day, the industry nearly exploded with rumors after Park Jimin openly visited Mirai during a shoot. Reporters immediately photographed them together. Staff whispered everywhere. Is Park Jimin backing Kang Mirai? Did she get powerful connections now too? Meanwhile, Yuna watched all of this unfold furiously, because for the first time since entering the industry, someone was genuinely threatening her position. And the worst part? Mirai wasn't fake. She was hardworking enough to deserve every bit of success she was finally getting. While Yuna, despite her beauty, had risen far too quickly through power, favoritism, and Jungkook's influence. The fashion event was packed with reporters and cameras. Kang Mirai stood nervously beside Park Jimin. Ever since Jimin started appearing with her publicly, dating rumors had exploded. Across the venue, Yuna arrived confidently. She expected every camera to follow her. But today, most eyes were on Mirai. Yuna's smile disappeared. Then, Jimin noticed her. Oh, Miss Yuna. Before Yuna could respond, a reporter suddenly asked, Mr. Park, is Kang Mirai your girlfriend? Everyone went silent. Mirai looked shocked. Jimin simply smiled. Yes, we're dating. Flash, flash, flash. Cameras exploded around them. Yuna's face turned stiff. Jimin calmly looked at her. I'm backing my girlfriend now. He paused. She deserves it. His voice became slightly colder. Unlike people who only rise because of connections. The staff immediately understood who he meant. Jimin continued. My girlfriend worked hard for everything she has. Yuna's pride shattered. Mirai had built her career slowly through hard work, while Yuna's career had skyrocketed after meeting Jungkook. Jimin wrapped his arm around Mirai and led her away. Outside, away from the cameras, Mirai looked at him. You didn't have to do that. Jimin shrugged. It's fine. Mirai smiled softly. But somewhere inside the fashion industry, Yuna's carefully built world had just begun to crack. The boardroom went silent when John Jungkook suddenly walked in. Executives, lawyers, shareholders, and at the center of the table, Jungkook's expression darkened. What is this? You calmly closed your file. A board meeting. You can't arrange this without telling me. Yes, I can. Everyone went silent. For years, Mrs. John stayed away from company politics. But today, she was standing against the CEO himself. Jungkook stepped closer. We'll discuss this privately. You looked at him calmly. I already told you what I want. Then you turned toward the lawyers. Mr. Lee, I'm requesting my rightful shares. You paused. Not just as Mr. John's wife, but as an investor. The room fell silent. I financially supported this company during its difficult years. I invested my own money and helped keep it running. Several older shareholders exchanged looks. They remembered. She was telling the truth. You opened another file. And now I want to start my own business. Your eyes met Jungkook's. I'm not asking my husband for help. I'm taking what legally belongs to me. A lawyer adjusted his glasses. Mrs. John has documented financial involvement in the company's early expansion. Jungkook's jaw tightened. Then you calmly added, I've already purchased a building. I only need the transfer finalized. Jungkook had no argument. Refusing now would only make him look guilty and unreasonable. The silence became unbearable. Finally, fine. His voice was cold, but inside, his pride was burning. For the first time, his wife had cornered him in his own boardroom. After everyone left, Jungkook loosened his tie. You really don't trust me anymore? You suddenly softened and hugged him. It's fine. This is ours anyway. We're working for our future. Jungkook froze. Then you smiled. We can work together too. Slowly, his guard came down. Over the next few weeks, you became more involved in Jeon Group. Officially, you were managing your investments, but secretly, you now had access to Jungkook's financial movements, including the payments connected to Yoona. You never confronted him, you simply watched. And slowly, you pulled his attention back toward yourself. One evening, you showed him a luxury necklace. Wow, it's beautiful. Then you added quietly, you never bought gifts like this for me. Jungkook immediately felt guilty. The next day, the necklace arrived, and soon, there was a luxury apartment, a new car, designer clothes, jewelry, trips, expensive dinners, and most importantly, his time. The more Jungkook focused on you, the less attention Yoona received. Meanwhile, Mireille and Jimin continued damaging Yoona's position in the industry. Brand deals disappeared, public support shifted, and Yoona's perfect image slowly collapsed. But Kim Taehyung watched your growing closeness with Jungkook uneasily. He hated it. Yet whenever he questioned you, you reassured him gently. And Taehyung kept believing. One day, she'll still come back to me. He had no idea. You were already playing a much bigger game. Yoona finally panics. Yoona was furious. No, she was panicking. For months, everything had been falling apart. Luxury deals disappeared, designers stopped calling, and everywhere she looked, Kang Mireille was rising, magazine covers, luxury campaigns, interviews, and always beside her, Park Jimin. Meanwhile, Jungkook had started ignoring Yoona. No gifts, no shopping trips, no late-night visits, nothing. Yet online, Yoona kept seeing photos of you and Jungkook together. That hurt the most. One evening, Yoona finally broke down in front of her mother. I'm losing everything! Her mother suddenly narrowed her eyes. I think YN knows. YN froze. She asked for half the shares too, didn't she? Realization hit them. She knows about the affair, her mother whispered. She's taking revenge. That night, Yoona secretly met Jungkook. YN knows about us. Jungkook frowned. No. She does. Look how much she's changed. Jungkook went silent, because deep down, he had wondered the same thing. Yoona continued desperately. She's ruining me. She's taking you away from me. And I'm losing all my deals. Jungkook rubbed his forehead. I already tried talking to some people. Yoona looked hopeful. They're not cooperating. Her face fell. What? Things are complicated now. Yoona suddenly stood up. So you're just letting me fall? Yoona, you promised you'd protect me. Her voice echoed through the private room. Jungkook immediately told her to calm down, but Yoona couldn't anymore. For the first time, she realized something terrifying. The man who built her world was no longer choosing her first. Yoona finally reached her breaking point after losing another major luxury campaign to Kang Mirai. Inside the agency, the atmosphere around her had completely changed now. People still smiled politely to her face, but behind her back, whispers followed everywhere. Homewrecker. Mistress. Third wheel. Even younger trainees who once admired her now secretly mocked her online. And the worst humiliation, Mirai was now receiving genuine respect from the industry, not because of pity, not because of a powerful man alone, but because people finally recognized her talent. Meanwhile, Yuna's image slowly became tied to scandal and favoritism. That afternoon, unable to control herself anymore, Yoona confronted you directly. You sat calmly inside a private lounge area reviewing documents when she walked in sharply. Her eyes were red with anger and exhaustion. You knew. You slowly looked up from the papers without reacting much. Yoona laughed bitterly. I know you knew about me and Jungkook all this time. Silence. You simply watched her. That calmness irritated her even more. You're acting, she snapped. Everything you're doing is fake. Still, you didn't deny it, didn't confirm it either. Yoona stepped closer emotionally. He's going to leave you eventually. Her chin lifted proudly despite her unstable expression. He'll come to me. You remained quiet. Yoona continued desperately trying to convince herself as much as you. I'm younger than you. I'm beautiful. That's why he chose me. The words hung heavily in the room. You listened silently while she kept talking, insult after insult, mocking your marriage, your age, your relationship with Jungkook, trying to provoke pain from you. But strangely, the calmer you stayed, the more unstable Yuna became. Finally, after several minutes, you slowly closed the file in your hands and looked directly at her. Your expression remained unreadable. Then quietly, you asked only one thing. If he chose you so completely? A small pause. Why are you standing here crying in front of his wife instead of beside him? Yuna stared at you intensely after finally throwing all her accusations out, but unlike what she expected, you didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't break. You simply looked at her calmly and said, I knew before. Yuna's expression froze. Then your voice turned colder. And don't be so proud. You're still just a mistress. The word hit her sharply. For the first time, embarrassment flashed openly across Yuna's face. You slowly stood up holding your file against your chest. We'll see who kicks out who, you continued quietly. Her jaw tightened, then your eyes hardened completely. Your good days are over. Yuna scoffed angrily, but you kept speaking. And trust me, I'm not leaving you alone after this. The calm hatred in your voice genuinely unsettled her now. I'll destroy you 100 times over. Silence filled the lounge. You finally let years of pain speak honestly now. At first, you were innocent. Your eyes briefly lowered. I believed his words too. I believed he was only helping you. You nodded faintly to yourself. He helped your career, supported you, opened doors for you. Then your gaze lifted toward her again. That was fine. But you didn't stop. Your voice sharpened slightly. You willingly became involved with a married man. Yuna's eyes burned immediately. Then why don't you ask your husband? She snapped back defensively. He came to me first, not the opposite. You didn't deny it. I know. That answer actually shocked her more. He's more guilty than you. A bitter, tired smile crossed your lips. But somewhere, I thought you would stop yourself eventually. Your fingers tightened around the file slightly. I thought after I confronted you, maybe you'd realize. Then your expression went completely cold. But you'll never stop. Yuna stayed silent now. For the first time, she finally understood something terrifying. You were no longer fighting to save your marriage. You were fighting to destroy everything that hurt you. You stepped around her calmly toward the exit. Then before leaving completely, you paused briefly. Don't worry. Your voice remained soft. He'll suffer too. And with that, you walked away, leaving Yuna standing alone with fear slowly creeping into her chest for the first time. Yuna immediately confronted Jeon Jungkook after meeting you. She knows everything, Yuna said anxiously. And she's taking revenge on us. At first, Jungkook tried denying it again, but honestly, deep down, fear had already started growing inside him too. Then suddenly, Yuna's mother called him directly. Her voice sounded urgent. I saw your wife with another man. Jungkook froze instantly. What? She keeps meeting him secretly, the older woman continued confidently. I've kept an eye on her. Every word made Jungkook's chest tighten strangely. She's cheating on you. Silence. For a moment, Jungkook couldn't even process the irony. Him, feeling hurt over betrayal. Yuna noticed his expression changing immediately. What happened? Jungkook slowly lowered the phone. Your mother said YN is seeing another man. For the first time in months, real jealousy and panic entered him sharply. Images flashed through his head automatically. You smiling lately, being distant, protecting your phone, meeting people secretly, dressing differently. And suddenly Kim Taehyung's face appeared in his mind. Yuna quickly grabbed the opportunity. Then keep an eye on her too. Jungkook stayed silent. If she's cheating, expose her. Yuna's voice sharpened bitterly. She shouldn't act innocent either. After a long pause, Jungkook finally nodded quietly. Later that night, he ordered private agents to watch your movements discreetly. But what he didn't know was you already expected this possibility long ago. You became extremely careful around Taehyung. No direct evidence, no obvious intimacy publicly, no messages left carelessly. Still, the very thought of you possibly belonging emotionally to another man slowly started eating Jungkook alive. That night, he delayed coming home for hours. Not because of work, because shame mixed painfully with jealousy now. How could he feel betrayed while betraying you first? Yet emotions didn't care about fairness. Eventually, near midnight, he finally entered the quiet house. The lights were dim, and there you sat alone on the couch, silently reading something under the soft lamplight. Peaceful, untouchable. Jungkook stood there watching you longer than usual. Lately you felt close enough to touch, yet impossibly far away emotionally. Finally, he walked closer slowly. Why are you so silent these days? He asked quietly. You slowly looked up at him, and for some reason, Jungkook suddenly felt nervous waiting for your answer. For a few seconds you only stared at him, then slowly you closed the file in your hands. You really want to know? Something in your tone immediately made Jungkook uneasy. You stood up calmly from the couch. I'll tell you then. Your eyes held his directly now. I know about you and Yuna. Silence. Complete silence. Jungkook froze instantly. The words hit harder because they came so calmly. Not emotionally, not hysterically, just truth. You laughed softly without happiness. You looked so shocked earlier when people said I might be cheating. Then your expression hardened. Did you finally feel what I felt? Jungkook opened his mouth but no words came out. You stepped closer. I knew for a long time. His face slowly lost color. The office. The lipstick marks. The perfume. The trips. The gifts. Your late nights. Every sentence landed heavier than the previous one. I saw both of you together myself. That confession finally broke the last illusion inside Jungkook. You. His voice cracked slightly. You saw? Your eyes looked tired now. Yes. And I still stayed. Those words destroyed him more than shouting could have. You pointed toward him angrily now after years of silence finally erupting. Do you know how pathetic I felt? I kept waiting for you to stop. I kept believing you would remember me. Your breathing shook slightly now. But every day you came home smelling like another woman. Jungkook lowered his head slowly, unable to even look at you properly anymore. You made me feel powerless in front of my own husband. Tears finally filled your eyes, but your voice remained sharp. And now suddenly you feel hurt because someone said I'm meeting another man? A bitter laugh escaped you. You're unbelievable. Jungkook tried stepping closer weakly. Listen. No. You immediately stopped him. For once you listen. Silence filled the room again. Then your voice became quieter, more painful. I loved you so much that I destroyed myself protecting this marriage alone. Jungkook's eyes visibly reddened hearing that. But you looked at him like seeing him clearly for the first time. You became the exact kind of man you once promised never to become. That sentence hit deepest of all, because it was true. And for the first time since the affair began, Jungkook truly understood the full weight of what he had done to you. Jungkook stood completely silent while you looked at him with trembling eyes. Years of pain finally sat between both of you openly now. You laughed weakly through tears. Do you know how crazy I became because of you? Jungkook's chest tightened painfully, hearing your voice shake like that. You wiped your tears angrily. I used to wait for you every night. I cooked for you. I stayed awake for you. I checked the clock every few minutes like an idiot. Jungkook lowered his eyes, unable to face you properly. And when you came home, your lips trembled. You smelled like her. Silence. I saw lipstick on your shirts. Marks on your neck. Perfume that wasn't mine. You looked at him with raw heartbreak now. And still I stayed silent. Jungkook's breathing became heavier, because suddenly he remembered all those nights clearly. You quietly waiting, pretending not to notice, smiling weakly despite being hurt. You continued speaking through tears now. Do you know how many times I cried alone in this house? No one saw me. No one cared. I felt ugly. I felt unwanted. Every confession shattered something inside him further. I kept thinking maybe if I became better, prettier, calmer, you'd love me again. Your shoulders shook slightly. But you kept choosing her. Jungkook closed his eyes painfully. You stepped closer now. I even blamed myself for your cheating. That finally made him look up immediately in shock. I thought maybe I wasn't enough for you. Maybe that's why you stopped touching me. Your voice cracked completely at that point. And the worst part? You laughed bitterly again. I still defended you. You pointed toward yourself angrily. People warned me about you. Your own employees pitied me. But I kept believing my husband wouldn't destroy me like this. Jungkook looked completely broken now, listening to every hidden pain you carried alone. Then finally, after everything, you asked the one question that haunted you most. Why? Your tears fell freely now. Why did you do this to me? The room became unbearably quiet. Jungkook opened his mouth slowly. Jungkook finally sat down heavily after your question. Why? For a long time he stayed silent. Then slowly, he spoke honestly for the first time. When I first met Yuna's image appeared in his mind again. Young, beautiful, fragile looking, working in that bar while men stared at her constantly. At first I really only wanted to help her. His voice sounded tired now. She reminded me of someone struggling alone. You listened silently. Jungkook rubbed his forehead. But everywhere we went, people noticed her. He remembered introducing her to agency people, business contacts, industry connections, men instantly surrounding her trying to impress her, offering help, complimenting her beauty, and strangely, he hated it. Not because he loved her deeply then, but because his ego and possessiveness slowly got involved. It became competition, he admitted quietly. I already gave her a place beside me in my head. You looked away bitterly hearing that. He continued, one day she told me, if I wasn't married, she would have confessed to me. That moment had changed things, because instead of stopping, his pride reacted first. A beautiful younger woman openly wanting him, admiring him, depending on him. It fed something selfish inside him. Meanwhile, Yuna herself also saw opportunity clearly. Jungkook was handsome, rich, powerful, a man who could change her entire life. And slowly, both of them crossed lines together. She got closer, Jungkook admitted painfully, and I didn't stop her. At first there was guilt, fear, but eventually he became comfortable hiding things, flirting, buying gifts, trips, attention. He openly gave Yuna things he never even thought to give you, because somewhere along the way, he stopped appreciating the woman who stayed beside him from the beginning. You, the woman who saw him at his lowest, who supported him before success existed, who sacrificed silently without asking for rewards. Jungkook looked at you with shame filling his eyes now. I kept thinking you'd never leave. That truth was ugly, but real. You were stable, loyal, strong, and because of that, he took you for granted. Meanwhile, Yuna felt exciting, beautiful, easy to impress, a fantasy compared to the responsibilities and emotional depth of marriage. Then your voice finally cut through the silence. So in the end, a bitter smile appeared on your lips. You chose temporary beauty over the woman who built your life beside you. Jungkook immediately shook his head weakly. No, but you stopped him. You respected her more because she made you feel powerful. Your eyes looked deeply hurt now. And me? A painful laugh escaped you. I was just the wife always waiting at home. The room fell silent again, because neither of you could deny anymore how deeply unfair everything had been. I'm sorry, Jungkook whispered weakly. I made a mistake. You stared at him for a long moment. You laughed, not happily, painfully. A mistake? Your eyes filled again. No, Jungkook. You shook your head. A mistake happens once. What you did was a choice. Every word hit him harder now because there was no screaming left in you anymore. Only exhaustion. You quietly reached for the file beside you and placed it on the table between both of you. Jungkook looked down, then froze completely. Divorce papers. His breathing stopped for a second. Why? The question sounded almost broken. You looked at him in disbelief. You really thought I would stay forever? Jungkook immediately looked hurt. But you already took your shares. You cut him off coldly. They already belonged to me. Silence. He genuinely had no answer anymore. Then suddenly something darker crossed his face. Taehyung. You looked at him quietly. You're with him. You didn't deny it, and that silence itself became confirmation. Jungkook's face lost more color instantly. You finally answered calmly. It started after your affair. 2 months ago. Jungkook looked devastated hearing it spoken aloud. You, however, looked strangely numb now. So it's fair, isn't it? No, he said immediately, voice breaking. No, it's not. A bitter smile appeared on your lips. Why? Because you suddenly love me now? That question destroyed him completely. Jungkook moved closer desperately. You didn't love him before, he argued weakly, like trying to hold on to something. You looked at him with unbearable sadness. Then why would I stay even after knowing you cheated? Silence. That sentence answered everything. You stayed because you loved him. You broke because you loved him. And eventually, when that love died slowly, someone else entered the empty place he created. Jungkook had no words left. None. The weight of everything finally crashed onto him fully. The affair, your loneliness, your tears, Taehyung, the divorce papers. His knees slowly gave out and he sank onto the floor beside the couch, looking completely ruined. For the first time, Jungkook truly understood what losing you meant. You stood there staring at him quietly. Then your voice came softly. Sign it. He looked up at you with reddened eyes. I want to go out. I want to live my life now. Your expression remained cold, despite tears still falling. You can do whatever you want with your mistress after this. And for the first time since their marriage began, you were finally the one walking away from him. Jungkook never signed the divorce papers that night. He stayed sitting on the floor long after you walked away from the room. The papers remained untouched beside him. Meanwhile, far away in another apartment, Yuna's mother paced anxiously. You're losing everything because of that woman. Yuna looked stressed already from collapsing deals and public humiliation. Her mother grabbed her arm sharply. If they divorce, YN will destroy you completely. Fear slowly entered Yuna's expression. You need to attack first. Those words changed something. Desperation, panic, survival instinct. Later that night, Yuna secretly contacted a reporter she previously knew through entertainment circles, and by morning, everything exploded publicly. Breaking headlines flooded news channels and social media. CEO Jungkook preparing for divorce. Sources claim wife involved with another man. Rumors connect Mrs. John with photographer Kim Taehyung. Photos of you and Kim Taehyung from malls, restaurants, and public appearances started circulating online rapidly. Inside your office, you froze, staring at the television screen. For a moment, your hands actually trembled, not because of guilt, because of rage. The narrative had changed instantly. Now suddenly, you became the villain, publicly, the cheating wife, not the betrayed woman. You immediately grabbed your phone and called Jungkook. He answered quickly, voice tired. YN? Your anger exploded instantly. Did you give this news to reporters? Jungkook frowned in confusion. What news? Don't act innocent. You turned the television volume louder. Your divorce news is everywhere. Jungkook immediately stood up from his chair, hearing panic in your voice. What? He quickly opened the business news channel nearby, and then his face completely changed. On screen flashed headlines directly attacking you. Mrs. John accused of affair with photographer. Jungkook divorcing wife after betrayal. Photos of you beside Taehyung filled the screen repeatedly. Jungkook looked genuinely horrified, because he knew immediately he never released this, and more importantly, he knew exactly what the public would do to you now, especially in his world. A cheating wife would always be judged harsher than a cheating husband,